are going to be working on today. Just overall, our end in mind would be working on habit 2, taking a booster shot, so to speak, there, and then creating that big picture, which means revisiting goals, just what we were talking about, those outcomes, with defining focus. We're going to start with a fun icebreaker activity that I found called Count the Numbers. And here, very simply, I'm going to show you some numbers. They are from 1 to 54. And they're going to look a little unusual to you because they're all over the place. So what we're going to say to you is here, the numbers are all here from 1 to 54. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to give you a minute of time to start to look through these numbers and see how far you can get, counting in order. And I promise you, there are no missing numbers. Any questions? Are you ready? 1 minute and go. Okay, let's see. How did you do? You looked very serious. I could see all of your faces. Did any of you get up to 10?
Yes.
I did. Awesome. Did anybody get to 20?
No.
No. Okay. All right. That's fine because it was a brand new activity to do. So what I want to do, anything that you do and with some practice, you should get better. So what we're going to do is we're going to try harder and we're going to have a positive attitude and we're going to give it another try. What do you think? Sounds like fun? Sounds like a good challenge? All right. The second time around, how many of you improved from your first round? All right. Awesome. Great. Great. Do any of you have tips for anyone else in what you did? Michelle?
I felt like the second time around, I started looking ahead. Like if I was looking for 20, I was also looking for 21, 22, 23. And when I found 20, my eyes automatically went to 21, 22. So I started to just jump ahead of myself a little bit.
Okay, awesome. Anybody else have a strategy they were
I made a mental note of the ones that gave me trouble the first time around where they were, the ones that I could not find originally, that I remembered where they were. They stuck out now this time.
Okay. Nancy?
This really wasn't a strategy, but I reminded myself to relax. Like this is just a game. It doesn't,
Right.
So that actually helped me like just calm down a little bit. And then I was able to focus better.
Okay, awesome. Well, guess what? We're going to do it one more time, but this time I'm going to tell you something to give you a little hint. Ready? Take a look at this. The board is broken up into 9 equal squares. So there's a pattern here involved. If you look in box 1, you can see the number 1. And box 2, you can see the 2 in the corner. Box 3, it's that squiggly 3 all the way up. And if you drop your eyes to 9, you'll see the 9. And then it will continue on up to the next box. So now you're going to have a minute using this strategy that I just shared with you, this hint. Let's see how you do. Is the framework clear? Okay, get ready, get set, and go. Okay, stop. Okay, so here, how many of you improved and had your best score? All right. Okay. Did any of you find all 54?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Awesome. So what do you think made the difference in how you did it?
It was structure. Yeah, it was so much easier once there was like a clear framework of where to look, and I knew to look ahead, and I knew exactly just where to stay focused in that one corner or that one, little quadrant.
Awesome.
Made it so much easier.
Which is great. How do you think this helps us in our framework for goal setting?
It just reminds us to be really specific and to set ourselves up for success and putting our goals into a smaller box and a very large grid to look ahead.
Very true. Anybody else?
I think too, maybe not looking so far ahead, looking closer in the future and having maybe like smaller checkpoints or, more frequent goal checking to get to the end result.
Mhm. Oh, I like that thinking. How do you think that could help too in keeping, there's many people who set New Year's resolutions or goals in January, which is where we are right now. And what do you think the difference is between being successful, just like what happened with this game today, or year, and thinking about, wow, we're halfway through the school year, or a new year just started 2022, and then, you know, what control do I have if I'm trying to have that clear picture of that blueprint of where to go? Which brings us to that review of habit 2 and how important that is. So I'm going to share the screen with you. That again, habit 2, begin with the end in mind, is the habit of personal vision. The principles of effectiveness are vision, commitment, and purpose. Again, the 7 habits help us take a proactive approach. Can I have somebody share with us the common paradigm for this habit?
I'll do it. I can't predict how my life will turn out, so I just go with the flow.
And you can see how that connected to the activity, the number activity that we did. Whereas the highly effective paradigm, Jen, would you share that?
Clearly defining my vision and purpose in life will make all the difference.
Absolutely, right? It makes perfect sense. It's a good reminder. Now we're going to look at the common practices for this habit. Common practices. Nancy, would you share?
Sure. Common practices. Get started without a clear idea of what you want to achieve. Let others' agendas and circumstances define how you live.
Absolutely. Whereas our highly effective practices tell us to, let's see, Lisa?
To define outcomes before you act and create and live by a personal mission statement.
Absolutely. So today we're going to look very closely at defining outcomes before you act. And something that really helps me a lot to remember this is this visual that I'm going to share with you. And you see here that habit 2 is based on that all things are created twice. Remember, the first creation is the mental blueprint, and the second creation is acting on those thoughts. So it's having that picture first. So let's think about that. Why is that first creation so important? Thumbs up if you have an idea, or if you want to jot something in the chat box, you can, or you can just unmute yourself. Again, why is that first creation so important? That mental blueprint. Lisa?
I think because it gives you a starting point, like it's your general idea of what you hope to achieve. And I think that's like, it's a good starting place. Like I think about when you're writing and you write like your first draft. And then, oh, Nancy just wrote that. Serves as a draft.
Serves as a draft.
And then you build upon that. And as you are going, you know, down the road and trying to achieve your goal, you tweak things and you make changes and you see what works and what doesn't. And that's when you try to improve to get towards your outcome. But I think it's good to start somewhere to at least have that base foundation.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody else? And thank you, Nancy, for jotting that in. It's a draft.
Just to piggyback on what Lisa said, it gives you that draft and that starting point, but it improves it. You know that that's where you're only going to get better, and where you can clearly see the things that you want to improve on is by having a mental or an image of where you're starting at.
Absolutely. And Barbara just wrote in, every great happening started with a beginning, an idea. Absolutely. And even today, in preparing for us to meet, I had to think to myself, okay, what's my blueprint? What's my mental creation? And I had to think, okay, clear agenda and objective, so that the hope would be that I would have a productive meeting. Could you imagine if you ran a meeting without having that? What would the end result look like? To me, it would be having a meeting without a purpose. So I have a few other examples to show you. And let's think about here. We have what I just spoke of, and then a goal with a clear endpoint and deadline would be defining, having that mental blueprint. What could that end up being if you had a goal with a clear endpoint and deadline?
You're going to achieve the goal. Is that what you're looking for?
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, if you have, a goal with a clear endpoint, hopefully at the end, that would be
That's where you would go. If you have a compelling mission statement that you have worked on and you have that you've defined, right? You're in that mental creation. So what could the outcome look like because of that?
I think having a compelling mission statement keeps you motivated. You know, it's you're staying aligned to your personal goals for yourself. It'll only keep you right on track.
Right. And it really would fulfill your life of different things that you're saying, oh, this is a plan. Just like if I'm going on vacation, if all I'm saying is I'm going on vacation and I don't have a plan, then will my vacation be as great as it could be? Just like for myself, I had a trip, but before going on that trip, I said, okay, what are some things I'd like to do while I'm there, so that I can have that mental picture and then work towards that goal. So anything we're doing, we really are thinking about that, because a key idea here is any part of your life can be enhanced by defining the outcome before you start. So the next thing I'm going to share with you is a chance for you to dive deeper for yourself, personally or professionally, is to show you a video that I found on the Leader in Me website that is titled Habit 2, Create the Big Picture. And this is part of the reflection series. So there are different habits that if you feel, hey, I want to dive deeper into habit 1 or habit 4, you can actually utilize the series. It's quite engaging, and there's activities that are there as well. So here I want you to imagine your life, right? Again, benefiting from visualizing the end before you begin. This video is about 3 minutes in length. And at the end, we'll talk about how we can practice that, and you'll be able to apply that to your own life. So let me get this queued up for you. Here it is.
Have you ever set out on a household project